Changes are happening right in front of us. We are watching that in next 24 hours we're going to get a weekly close, but it signifies where we are headed. When you do compare Bitcoin to Ether or to XRP, you get to see different shades of price action. So not every asset gives you the taste of the average market. And that's what matters the most. So if you are in an asset which is still inside this consolidation, while the average market broke to the upside, now you need to find assets which are performing with the average or above the average. Why? When you see such pattern and a breakout, that matters a lot. You see the impulse? So you now got a break to the upside. What if you're directly going to test this range? There is going to be a pump. So if you are in assets or only in assets which are still performing below the average, you will have hard time watching other assets ride higher. So you need to know which assets you have and what they're doing. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where the normal retail guys get to learn how to become the next top 10% of this world. Here, we break the market down so that you know what they are showing you one by one, asset by asset, inside segments. You know, if you have that segment alive, that's good. Now, look at the general market. It is back about $2.5 trillion. That's a great sign. We're not going down breaking 2 trillion, going down breaking 1.5. Rather, we are trending higher. Within the top 100, now you're watching, in the last 1 week, you have assets performing 10, 15, 20, 30% to the upside. When you go to large to medium caps, now you're watching 20, 30, 40% fluctuations in assets where you can clearly see the buyers are dominating the market at this time. So you do see a lot of opportunities, and you do see that the fluctuation is increasing as you move in towards the small cap. You're watching small to medium caps giving you that area to make some decent gains. But the level of your interest should be based on your risk tolerance. The general assets which show you an opportunity should abide by this rule. Easy. You just follow this, and if you see an asset breaking through the local highs, that is going to signal you that it is going up. But the moment you actually take on some of these, you'll be like, okay, that's still a large cap asset, but that broke to the upside. So XRP is a large cap asset in payments industry. It did not break higher. Instead, you now have smart contracts, large cap, breaking to the upside. Now you have a lot of indicators which was telling you this has higher odds. We went through that before the recent bounce. So SI family knew this was coming. But right now, that's a question you need to ask. Okay, is the money now moving in to the large caps and smart contracts? Okay, there would be confusion. Okay, what are the other assets you would compare it with? DOT is one I would use. Ether is another one which I would use. AVAX is another one. So you can compare it with any of those. This one did not break to the upside. You are now watching the same segment, the same category, the large cap, and you still don't see highly correlated move there. Now you reach here in AVAX and you're watching this. A breakthrough, which is positive. So yes, it's not showing you higher momentum like Cardano, but it is following with the average market move. So now you're watching, just like we talked about previously, if you are in the smart contract side of things and you are looking at one or two different assets, say you're here, you're looking at this, you want to go into one asset, you're going to go into another asset. But what matters for you, if this is what interests you, say real world assets, you go in there. Right now, you're like, okay, are we watching a ton of these assets running up? Not exactly, right? You go into the memcoin side and you're like, okay, they're at least green when the majority is slowing down in the market. But it's not popping 30, 40, 50% for the day, right? So you go on to the gaming side of things and you're like, okay, they're barely green. You have a lot, which is like, the break even for the 24 hours move. You can literally go into whichever ecosystem you want to and see the amount of money in flow. Because the moment you actually see one particular ecosystem taking in more and more and more capital, the network effect will increase the valuation. So this is going to be something you should keep your mind on to. Now, the all season indicator, this is something which people debate, but look at this. When you do look at this on a seasonal index, it is showing you, this is more like a daily index, I consider. So it is showing you last 90 days. Fine. So when you look at this, it is showing it's at 37 and it's now slowly trending to the downside, trying to make a higher low. When you take a monthly, you're like, okay, that's 47. It's better than that. Now we come on to the yearly. Yes, it's a little bit better, not by a much. But look at that direction. This is actually clear. The trend is to the upside. You're making consistent higher lows, swing high, swing lows, swing high, swing lows, and a higher high, higher low. Now, zoom a little bit out. What can you see? These kind of lessons should stay with us at least during these critical times. It shows you it is trending to the upside. It shows you the direction is to the upside. So you are looking at the macro chart, right, for the entire index. And you kind of get to see this is that phase when you break through that, you go much, much higher. Now, individual assets, you would break them down and look at what they're doing. Some are doing exceptionally fine. Some are not. Say XRP is still here at the lowest end where you're not watching a lot of that fluctuation happening, right? You're still just like 10%, but at least it's not negative like few others. So when you're in the market, make sure you do see that. Now, take XRP for that matter. To go bullish on this asset on a micro level, you need to see this breaking to the upside. When you do see some other categories, as we just described, we saw what's happening in the smart contract side on the large cap category. We talked about it. Now, if you look at the medium cap on that side, you're like, okay, I can kind of feel there is a pattern. I can see there is a break of that pattern. A retest and a bounce is going to be big. Okay, that's a daily. Now we zoom out and you start to recognize, okay, that zone is familiar from a long period of time. So that's literally 2 years of support resistance zone. These are the things which you should address in your portfolio. That's one of the reasons why we go through a lot of different assets, breaking them down one by one, so you get to see whether that's above the accumulation or that's still in accumulation, whether that's trending to the upside above the accumulation or it's consolidating, preparing for the markup. So opportunities exist in the market and the SI family bring that to you. If you want to join, use the link in the description below in YouTube or in the bio on Twitter. Now, jumping back into these, you do see gold is going up. You do see silver is breaking through to a level which we haven't seen for this decade. Like you're looking for last 10 years and you're saying, whoa, Something is breaking in the economy. The signal which the market gave us was valid. Now we are going through. Where we are going to end up, I don't know. But one thing the market shows you is the 1, the 2, the 3 was valid here. The micro leg. So now that is 1. If this is 2, maybe I'm wrong. But you're going to watch this fluctuation here. Now, can this be just the macro one? I'm not sure. But if you do zoom a little bit out into this asset and see what it has shown you before, now you would agree, okay, fine. You have seen the micro bounces in this, which showed you it was showing exceptional volatility like this, the big macro 1, 2, 3. So that's still possible. But what's the trouble? That's silver, a commodity where its market cycle is spanning like 8 to 10 years. So what you're going to see in this duration, while crypto runs up, is going to be just one wave cycle, one move to the upside. Maybe that's going to be 50, maybe that's going to be 75. Yes, eventually it's going to reach 100, 125. An upside just like we have seen historically, where it came from, where it went through, we know what's happening. So the change in the economy is visible. The only difference is when it's literally like XRP. Say you look at this and you go through this and you're like, whoa, that's a lot of positive news. And all of that's talking about Q1 2024. So it's already done. Now you take that back into the price action thing and you ask like, okay, what's wrong? Meaning the amount of positivity which you can see on the fundamental side is not being priced in. Or the investors involved in this asset is not going super crazy, buying this more like a ton of it. They're not selling their house and buying XRP. Some did buy Bitcoin and memcoin before. So when you come into the market and you see, okay, some of these are slowly starting to take off. Now, we had our FTM breakout move and the targets and call before it started. So you're not surprised if you are already in the SI family. And some of them are starting to do that right now. So you can actually see it's getting closer to the target. Once we reach the target, I'll show you when I posted where the targets were and how the price moved into that range. But by then, it can be late. But you see that the market is slowly starting to react positively. So you're watching that the market is slowly starting to show you there are assets which are now interested in going up, just up. That's something you need to always keep in your mind. When the market confuses you, you should ask yourself like, okay, what am I watching? Is it a small cap? Is it a large cap? Or is it just on something on the memcoin side of things? Because if it is, then you should be like, okay, maybe I'm going to go into the memcoin side. If you're like, no, I'm a complete bull on a wax smart contracts, then you're like, no, I'm going into some of these others. It depends on what you are looking at in the market, but absolutely you need to know which asset you are interested in and why. That's one of the reasons why when people actually argue I'm dropping XRP, I'm like, was that a short-term trade for you? Was that a long-term investment for you? If so, did your investment thesis change? Did the company or the project go bankrupt? Did the adoption drop back to zero? So these are the trouble with investing. Sometimes the market can be irrational for so long, we'll be out of liquidity. And that's one of the reasons why in last couple of years I've focused on, guys, watch, money is rotating. You take benefit of that, it is visible in your portfolio. Rather than getting stuck with just one asset, 100% of your portfolio, now you get to ride that wave. When people like this gives you an idea detailing the macro and all, use it for your advantage. Because when you go through, there's a lot of different discussion happening. Say when we are in the market, there would be people like, okay, I'm dropping this. I actually saw something and I was trying to react to it with some logic, saying, yeah, guys, yes, there would be some who will move out because the hype kind of went in. But you should not be among that. Rather, you should look at which assets, which group shows you this. So this is Ether showing it's going to bounce off from the weekly. We saw what Cardano showed us. We saw what AVAX showed us. Now, if you go into XLM, if you go into XRP, all you see is the prices below the weekly moving average. You did not yet get a macro burst. We're waiting for that. While you go back on Bitcoin to see, okay, what this guy is doing, it clearly shows you what we discussed exactly at this point. So those who have been watching this channel now understand, like, we discussed through this possibility because the price action showed us that it is a stronger possibility. We did not neglect that. Right now, it stands true. So next one, you zoom in. You want to see whether that momentum is fading, whether this is just going to be a B, C, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, boom. Is it going to be something like that? That's where the question comes in. So one of the primary argument which I would make is this as a resistance and this one. Now, watch if we can break this zone or not. If we do that without forming any negative divergence on a micro level, it's heavily positive because the macro pattern which you're riding now looks somewhat like this. So you had a micro level breakout. Now we are trying to test this range. However, you didn't get a perfect retest here, like a swing high, a comeback down, then a bounce off. We didn't get that. We would like to see such a move in the market, right? The market usually gives us that. Sometimes it's textbook pattern, sometimes it's not. So what you do is slowly zoom in at least till a 4-hour. Now go into an hourly. It would be confusing because there would be a lot of volatility. Say, for example, a 4-hour shows you the 1 is done, the 2 is done, the 3 is failing, which means now you want to see an ABC like this, which may end up back here, 63,330. So this is one of the reasons why I was arguing, guys, watch. If we are playing out a similar pattern like this, there is nothing to worry about. It's going to be a breakout and a retest. That was not the perfect drawing I wanted to show you guys, but now you guys have an idea. This is what you're watching. A breakout, a retest, and a bounce will not surprise me. But that ensures that the ride to the upside is now the one. It's going to go up. It's going to break through these ranges because your measured move is this, which you plot to the upside, which goes above these resistance. When the price reaches the all-time highs, people become euphoric. I don't know why they don't go euphoric when it's breaking through, because that's where you have a lot of opportunity. If you are a long-term guy, you buy close to the bottom. When there is massive drop in the market, you buy more. This is what helps you massively. So guys, if you received value, smash that like button. And if you want to join the SI family, use the link in the description below. I'll meet you guys in the next video. Bye for now.